Hello YouTube, Totalhenry here, and I'm back with another video. This is a very special video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys my top 10 favorite Gen 2 Pokemon drawings. I did this one after I finished my Gen 1 Pokemon, and in this video, I'm just going to show you the 10 drawings that I think came out the best. And now this is based on the art, and I'm trying not to put my personal preferences in about the Pokemon, so this is like purely art. And so I have 10, the top 10, but I also have 6 honorable mentions that I'm going to quickly show you, and pictures that were close, and it was a very tough call, but here they are. My 6 honorable mentions is Steelix. The honorable mentions are in no particular order. Then we have Girafarig, Entei. This one, he almost came down. He was almost on top 10, so he's like 11, but I couldn't quite put him on the list. Slugma, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And then Mareep. So that does it for my 6 honorable mentions. Now it's time for the top 10. Coming in at number 10 is 192 Sunflora. Now, the thing I love most about this drawing is the shading right here along its face. I feel like it really looks circular, but I don't know why. That's the only thing that I think is super good about it. Everything else, I don't know, it just felt a little off to me. Maybe it was the coloring, maybe some of the inking is off on the leaf over there, coloring out of the lines. But yeah, like, it's just, aside from the face area, I think everything else is just sort of average, and I don't know, I was really pleased with the way the face came out, so I wanted to put it on the list. So at number 10, Sunflora. At number 9, with a very clean design, 154 Meganium. I put this on here just because it came out really clean. The only thing is I couldn't get the red in the flower petal as solid as I would have liked it to be. And the color in the mouth is a little grainy. I wish I could have fixed that, but other than that, oh, and some of the right down here, that's a little messed up. Other than that, the color in the body came out really cleanly. You can see there's a few mistakes with like the eye and the mistake right there, but the shading came out looking really nicely, and it's just overall kind of simple compared to the complex, much darker shading that you will see in the pieces higher up on the list. So number 9, Meganium. Coming in at number 8 is another sort of starter Pokemon, Totodile, 158. And I really like this one a lot. This is also sort of same thing, very simple design, but the shading is a little bit darker, which is closer to my personal preference. I tend to go overboard with really dark shading, lots of contrast. But I don't usually in these videos put lighter values like I did on this sort of the triangle spike scales, whatever you want to call them back there. But yeah, the reason this didn't get was put higher on the list is the shading's just one color, and it's not as smooth as some of the ones higher up on the list. And I just think other ones were better. So number 8, I believe, Totodile. Now coming in at number 7 is 198 Murkrow. And this one stands out to me because most of the shading here was the opposite. It was lighter values, and in most of my videos I just go with the darker values. So this one stands out for that reason. There probably should have been some shading on the feet and the beak. I could have made this better by adding a few more darker values, so it had 3 tones. I colored a little bit in the eye. And I do feel that the coloring's off. I feel like the blue should be darker, and his nose and feet are too like sort of neon yellowy, and that sort of throws me off. Okay, so that is number 7, Murkrow. Number 6, we have Heracross, number 214. First thing I notice, his claws down here and his feet are different sizes. That throws me off, and I do like this because I did a lot of highlighting, a lot of highlights. I feel like I might have overdone it. Just it almost looks like he has suntan lotion on. I guess the sort of regular shading, the darker shading, I don't know, it's a little weird. Like if the light is coming from this side, I don't know why he would have shading down here. But I do like I do like it a lot. I don't usually put highlights into these drawings, so this one definitely stood out for me. So Heracross at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is 237 Hitmontop, and I do like the pose. This was kind of hard. This was hard to draw. And I think the shading is pretty good on this one. This one just stood out to me. I probably could have done a little bit more with the shading, and everything looks pretty solid. Like I don't see too many mistakes. Like nothing really jumps out at me. So yeah, I'm very pleased with the way this one came out. Maybe the coloring could have been a little bit better, but so number 5, Hitmontop. At number 4 is Porygon 2. This has the highlights and it has the shading, and I feel this one is more successful than Heracross. I feel like this one looks more like a round object. I did color out of the line a little bit, so that sort of bugs me. The red here is a little too pinkish and a little streaky, but there is some subtle shading on there, which I do like, some nice highlights, and I feel like everything works together really well. I sort of noticed just now that the white circle is not exactly completely circular, so that is a little bit of a bother. But other than that, I feel like this one came out really nicely, just sort of very clean, crisp. So number 4, Porygon 2. Now top 3, and these 3 were really close, and I like all of these ones. So coming in at number 3 is 165 Leadyba. Now the great thing about doing these lists is Leadyba would never be on anyone's favorite Pokemon list. I don't think, but I really like drawing this. I felt the shading came out really nicely. I did a lot of shading, especially sort of underneath here. And this is the sort of thing that I really like, making these sort of dark values, and I tried to get shading underneath the legs. I tried to get like a darker value right underneath there. So really happy with the shading on this one. The coloring, I think, on the face could have been a little bit better, colored in the eye in some places. As I look at it again, I probably could have made the shading a little bit darker, probably could have gone even further. So yeah, maybe a little more coloring. I can touch this up a little bit. But other than that, number 3, Leadyba, really happy with the way this one came out. Now, number 2, I really wanted this one to be number 1. This was probably my favorite for a long time, but Blossom 182. And the reason I put this one number 2 is, as I looked at it again, as I was making this list, I feel like I might have overdone it with the shading, and also I just can't tell where the light is coming from. I think the light is probably coming from this way, but the fact that I have shading down here throws me off. So I don't remember what I was thinking, because I think at this point I freelanced, I stopped looking at the image and I just sort of started shading, or maybe the image was completely flat and I wanted to make it a little more three-dimensional. So I really went to town on the shading, and this might be a case where I did too much and it starts to become too dark. The shading, especially like under the chin on the chest, is not as smooth as it could be. I think the flowers came out really nicely. Maybe the yellow thing here should have been a little bit darker. But yeah, other than that, I really like this one. I really like this one I was drawing. And those of you that draw, you know that sometimes it's rare when you're drawing something at the moment and you really like it. And then you go back later and it's not as good. So this is sort of what happened here. It wasn't as good as I remembered, but still very solid compared to a lot of the other ones. And this sort of list is like my style, and I do like this dark shade, and I like this sort of high contrast thing. And I guess the contrast wasn't what I wanted here, but so number 2, Blossom. And finally coming in at number 1, and I was so unsure about how this one was gonna go as I was drawing it, but it turned out really nicely. So number 1, Ho-Ho, Pokemon 250. And the first thing that I noticed about this one is Ho-Ho, and I can't take credit for this, but it's so colorful, and I think I did a good job of capturing the colors. It looks really bright. It just jumps off the page to me. In the shading, I think I captured what I liked about some of the other earlier ones, how it was sort of simple, it was clean, but also some of the Blossom where it's very dark and intense in some places. Like up here, I tried to get it darker. And then I think I did a good job showing that this wing was behind. I probably could have added more shading on the whole wing. I like the tone on its white body right there. I think that came out nicely. The only thing that really bugs me is this claw right there. I think it's too small. I redrew it. You can see in the video I erased it towards the end of the process and drew it again. The tail feathers, I sort of just like, I didn't really copy the picture, so those look a little bit off. I probably could have colored it a little cleaner. But overall, I just think this one came out great, which is weird because I hate drawing these wings. Like, I just don't know what it is about it. Just bugs me. And I think if I were to go back, I should take my time, make sure these are all like the same size, same spacing. Some of these came out looking a little too square. And I probably should have put some more shading underneath the red wings. But there it is. This is my video of my top 10 Gen 2 Pokemon drawings. I hope you enjoyed it. Number 1, Ho-Ho. Think this one is a really good drawing, and I hope you guys enjoyed the past few months of me drawing the Gen 2 Pokemon. But I'm super excited to start drawing Trico and adding new music. Need to figure out what theme song goes with Gen 3, and I'm just babbling. So just click subscribe, click the like button, and tell your friends that Totalhenry makes awesome videos. Thank you.